Are you one of those Hallmark movie junkies? I have friends who are. They will go whole hog. They just plop down on the couch, prop up their feet, and show off those fuzzy socks that say, "Leave me alone. I'm watching Hallmark movies." I love that part about the movies because you can never eat just one. Why are those things so darn addictive and a little contagious even? My girlfriends and I have been wondering that very thing, even as we're rehashing our favorite storylines and romances and characters. So I thought, well, now that the countdown to Christmas is all counted out, maybe it'd be fun to take a step back and ask, what the heck was that all about? I think that'll be a lot of fun to learn about ourselves as women. Enjoy.
Bags are packed, are you ready to go? This time tomorrow we'll be on the road, riding with you into sunnier days. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Welcome to the WifeSavers podcast, where multi-award-winning author and global marriage educator Ramona Zabriskie provides answers to your real wife questions. Our goal is to help you appreciate your womanhood, prioritize your personal development, and craft a powerful partnership with the man in your life. Hi, I'm Hannah Allen, and I'm proud to introduce my parents, Ramona and Dale Zabriskie. And yes, this is how they talk all the time. Let's listen.
Taking the good with the ups and downs.
Hi, Ramona Zabriskie here, and I'm sorry that Dale isn't doing this clever little intro like he always does. He says, I'm sitting across the table from Ramona Zabriskie, but actually, he's not. I have invited a substitute co-host tonight, and she is sitting across the table from me tonight. Welcome, Hannah, my daughter.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, perfect. You can tell that those guys on the news shows are always like, okay, when they go, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to be here. It's so honored. You're like,
they're like, we've got 3 minutes.
yeah, it's my bedtime. Are we done yet?
I'm afraid we're going to have too much fun. And that is why we kicked your father out of this podcast episode, because we thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have way too much fun if he's around, and we'll conjure up our own fun.
Yep.
He would have made too many jokes.
Too many jokes.
That's right.
There's already going to be enough between us. So.
And what's our topic? What's the throw me a wife saver? Well, I was at lunch with a couple of friends recently, and we had a wonderful time together. And I don't know how, but somehow the conversation, well, maybe just because it was Christmas season, right? Turned to Hallmark movies. And one of them said, why? Ramona, maybe you can tell us. Why can we not stop watching Hallmark movies? I thought that was a really interesting question. Why is it that we can't stop watching Hallmark movies, especially at Christmas?
Yeah. We look forward to it.
Do you realize that every one of the titles has Christmas in it?
Yeah, or something,
Yeah.
Holly or...
Somewhere at Christmas, something at Christmas, something Christmas.
I don't know how they keep coming up with titles.
I know. Someone sits around and thinks of that stuff. Anyway, and I thought that was a really intriguing question. It was sort of in jest, but I think there are some answers. And I think it'll be fun to talk about those answers and to do it with you, Hannah. I have heard some jokes like, if you've seen 12, you've seen them all.
That's right. It's about it. You got 12 different plots.
There's exactly. I mean, there's actually some like memes out there and a landing page or a website or two that really dedicated to this idea of piecing together a Hallmark movie. Like,
take one of these, take one of these, in each column, take one of these, one of these. And you got a Hallmark movie.
And you've got a Hallmark movie. But the person who created that, it's called the Hallmark Movie Plot Generator.
Do they just, is it a random click and it just...
Yeah, maybe so. If not, they should think about that. But at least the people at Hallmark should have one of those. But he said, the guy who created it said, And it was a guy. Okay, it was a guy who said this. I've pretty much seen them all too, but I still watch. I can't look away.
How is it going to end?
He's having fun making fun of it, and even he can't look away. But if it's hard on a guy, it's a super, super hard on a girl. Or some of us girls, anyway. So the question stands, why? And I have come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reasons, I think.
Who knew so much depth here in the home?
I know. Seriously, there's some serious
We've talked about
psychology.
This might not be the only podcast about it.
Yeah, well, it is interesting because we could do, why do we watch Hallmark movies? Then we could do one on what good things can we learn from Hallmark movies? Right. And then we could do one on what are the bad things we're learning from Hallmark movies. Anyway, when I thought about why, I'm remembering how a friend of ours, shout out to Sarah Lynn, who said, romance is what makes one feel loved or known well. How does that relate to a Hallmark movie? Romance is what makes one feel loved or known well. I think that when I'm watching a Hallmark movie, and many of my fellow females in the world, we feel known. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? It's romantic and we feel known. Like, why is this? Someone's able to create something that really, really resonates deeply
as a woman,
with me.
and so like
exactly,
hits all the points in your womanhood.
I think that it reveals a lot about us as women.
Well, I was also thinking that the movies themselves also show women feeling known.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think that has another impact.
They
is that-
discover themselves.
Yeah,
or
and because
other
you're
people.
watching somebody's story,
Yeah,
the
that's
man
true.
starts discovering more about her, different sides and all stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh,
yeah, so
now
both. It
That's
kind of-
a good one. It makes
does
us
both.
feel known. So what I think the answer lies in what stirs our hearts. What brings us alive as women. And your husband might want to listen in on this because I think there are some real clues here.
Hallmark 101 for your husband.
Exactly. So as we go along with my 6 reasons, my 6 whys, we can't stop watching Hallmark movies, I'm going to play some clips from some actual Hallmark. I can't say Hallmark
Yeah, it's going to be hard to say it over
too
and
many
over.
times in a row. Those movies. I'm going to play these clips for you, okay? This first one, I'm not going to tell you what it's from, okay, Hannah?
Fine.
You have to guess.
Okay.
I honestly, listener, I did not tell Hannah what I was going to play. So maybe you can guess too.
Yeah, it'll be fun
all
for
right?
them.
Let's play a guessing game.
Oh, it's Christmas every month of the year. They're beautiful.
When I was overseas, you were my angel. And you still are. Margie, you don't have to ask me to stay because I've already decided to stay. Because I met this girl. And there's no way I can leave without giving it a chance.
Life is full of little surprises.
And I have a couple more. I gotta go.
You're leaving?
I will see you at the party.
Wait. Well, can I at least get a hint?
Nope.
We're looking at each other going, oh.
So silly. All we can do is giggle at the end.
They're so silly, but there's like, they make you feel like you're just like,
Did you catch that part of there's going to be a party?
yeah.
There's always a party.
always a party.
That's where there's some kind of community event or something.
Yeah.
A big climatic final scene where it all comes together, right?
Or something's revealed.
Or something's revealed. Or they declare their love for each other or whatever. Okay, so do you know what the movie is?
Yes, but for some reason I'm thinking the other soldier Christmas movie title, and I'm like, oh.
Come on. Starts with an H.
It's not Homecoming.
No. It's maybe the only title that doesn't have Christmas.
Holiday for Heroes.
Yes!
That's it.
You got it. Holiday for Heroes. That
I love that one.
classic 2019 film.
Christmas like
On
if you really watch
steroids.
it, yeah,
Yes,
all the decorations.
Yes. And I'm proud to report that it was written by Todd Messagey and his wife, Lisa Nanny Messagey, who are my cousins.
So no wonder we like
My
it.
first cousins, yeah. I'm
Actually,
really
they
proud of
write
that.
the best ones.
They write the best ones, that's right. And it stars Mark Blucas, that we've seen in many other films, and Melissa Claire Egan. And that's the voices that you heard. So, what is it about? I hope that everyone could hear it because there's a lot of breathlessness in that scene. About, I couldn't leave you without giving it a chance. That kind of thing. What does that convey? Well, this is my first number one, my why number one, that we can't stop watching Hallmark movies. Because as women, what do they know about us? About what stirs our heart, what makes us come alive is this. Nothing makes us as happy as giving and receiving love. That's it.
That's it.
As women, nothing makes us as happy as giving and receiving love. I use this quote a lot. Lord Byron said, he was the world's greatest romantic, by the way. He said, man's love is of man's life a part or portion, right? But it is a woman's whole existence. Love is a woman's whole existence, and the makers at Hallmark know this, right?
Right.
So deep down, we are just lovers. We're lovers of beauty, of goodness, of sweetness, all of that. And we connect desire with love and romance. And that's what we see in the Hallmark movies too. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear his desire for
Right.
You are my angel.
It's like, I will
You
receive
still
it.
are my angel. And so that utter kind of focus and attention, like he's never going to leave. He was going to leave
Right.
in that film, but he tells her, no, I could never leave because I met this girl. So that's the kind of thing that feels so precious and sacred to us that it just resonates deep in our soul. Nothing makes us happier than love. It's the sum of our existence.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I love that about that it's part of wrapped up in our whole existence of who we are, not just something we enjoy or whatever. Like it just
Right.
really hits to the core.
Right.
Yeah.
If that alone is why we watch Hallmark
Right.
movies, okay. But I have another reason.
Well, see, we're
Why
going to look at it
number
going,
two?
oh, look, they're receiving love. Oh, look, they're giving love. That's how we're going to watch Hallmark.
I don't want everyone to turn into
No,
the
I'm
whole thing to
teasing.
turn into some kind of analysis. Actually, I want us just to enjoy them
Yes.
like we always have. But here's our next clue, our next clip of one of my favorite Hallmark movies. Are you ready? Let's see if you can guess what it is.
Does this passport look familiar? You lifted it, didn't you?
Are you accusing your uncle?
Yes, I am, and surprisingly, the words are rolling right off my tongue.
You have any witnesses?
What are you doing? Why would you do this?
I just thought that this guy, Morgan, was really good for you, as a matter of fact, and I can tell that he likes you.
What are we, in 7th grade?
Now look, Jenny, you have always been, what is the word I'm looking for?
Easy.
A very cautious girl, right? And Richard is a very safe, nice bet. And I'm saying that maybe it is time for you to break out, to take a risk.
Look, this is crazy. Okay, he's a virtual stranger. And Richard is a wonderful man. He's kind and strong and stable, and he's solid.
Wow. You sound like a bookcase.
My favorite line. It's
sounds
those
like
lines
a
throughout that whole
bookcase.
movie that just like make it.
Well, that's why it's one of my favorites,
Yeah.
frankly, is because I'm just laughing so much through the whole thing. I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing with it. It's so cleverly written by Bruce Graham. Got to give him some credit.
Yeah, it was well done.
And it stars Brooke Burns, Warren Christie, and another big reason I love it so much is Henry Winkler as the meddling uncle, of course. So what's the name of it?
The most wonderful time of the
The
year.
most wonderful time of the year, 2008. That it was made. So, what's the reason that we love that film? And of course, it's not just that film; it's all the Hallmark movies. Wow, I'm gonna have a hard time saying that.
Those movies that shall be.
Okay, you ready? Here's my why number two.
Got it.
Believing that the universe wants us to have love and happiness and romance and excitement just keeps us going. As women, like on our heaviest, darkest, most overwhelming, down kind of days, if we can sit down with a Hallmark movie and be reassured that the universe really wants us to be happy and that everything is lining up
Right.
somehow to bring all of that into our lives, just like Morgan came into her life. I mean, her uncle met him in an airport.
I saw one
know?
where this guy was like on some walking across and he slid on some ice and slipped and fell and she opened up her door and didn't see him and smacked him in the head,
There you
whatever. And
go.
then, that was their first meeting. So it's like
That, my friend, is serendipity.
serendipity at its finest.
That's one of my favorite rom-coms, by the way. Have you seen
Yeah, it's been a
Serendipity?
while,
So
but
much
yeah.
fun with John Cusack. Yeah. And Kate Beckinsale, if I remember right. Anyway, in that one, she believes in love at first sight, and that's so much fun. That's so much fun. If you haven't seen Serendipity, do. But the point is, what's the definition of serendipity?
What is it?
It's luck that takes the form of finding valuable or pleasant things that are not looked for, that just happen. See, the universe just brings it all to you.
Right.
And that's what she puts to the test in that film. And then another thought is fate, or another way to put serendipity is fate, the development of events beyond a person's control, like the person that falls in front of you. As like some supernatural power is bringing it all together, right? Or destiny. There you go. That reminds me, Back to the Future. You are my destiny. A predetermined course of events often held to be an irresistible power or agency, as if your future is determined in advance, right? So all those reasons, all those things, we love it, we love it, we love it as women. I found this fun quote. This is from a French-Cuban-American essayist, and he said, "You don't find love, it finds you. It's got a little bit to do with destiny, fate, and that's what's written in the stars." Okay, so...
And there's a lot of Hallmark films where the woman has to come to terms with this, right? Like they've turned down a relationship or they just finished a bad relationship.
Well, that's true in the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah. And so they're just like, or they put off dating or something. And so they have to come to terms with, wait, maybe this is destiny, or this thing just suddenly comes into my life, that they can't control it, they have to give in to it.
Right. And how many Hallmark movies is she already involved with some other guy who's actually a really good, solid guy, but someone more exciting?
Not a bookshelf is...
Just like in a most wonderful time of year. But that is a recycled plot.
Well, I think about so often, too, like as women, we're just so involved in our ordinary patterns and day-to-day living, and so when we watch something, and it brings back that wonder and magic of that serendipity aspect or that fate, that, like you said, all things are working for your good and for your love and for your enjoyment. And so
the universe loves
gives you something to believe in, right?
Well, and it also has a lot to do with second chances. We want to believe there's second chances, or how many of these films, there's the guy who got away somehow, or the romance that never quite happened, and then they get the second chance years later, right?
Or even a previous high school sweethearts get a second chance, right?
Yes. I have a sample of one of those coming up. So in today's world, everything is a science. This many steps or follow these steps to get this outcome. But I think these Hallmark movies have just hit on something. They reveal this longing that we actually have, that there are forces at work behind the scenes, somehow orchestrating our happiness and ultimately bringing us love. All right. It's just my heart. Steady my heart. Thanks for listening to this crazy, especially fun episode, which we'll get back to in just a moment. You know, though it's a lot of work producing the WifeSavers podcast and creating content for the WifeSavers by Ramona YouTube channel at the same time that I'm teaching my students in the WifeSavers course and community and giving extra love and attention to those women and couples that I mentor or coach privately, I'm telling you the truth when I say it's so fun. I mean, what other job would allow me to know you and thousands of women like you in over 70 countries? It's a dream come true. And as I've lived that dream over the past decade, I've realized that I need to share more about what I've learned in the process of dream making. And that's why I've added 3 brand new chapters to the brand new edition of my book, Wife for Life, The Power to Succeed in Marriage. Ever since 2014, I've been humbled and amazed by the way women all over this world have loved and even revered that book. It's easy to check out any number of the hundreds of 5-star reviews and editorial reviews online, as well as the multi-awards the book has received. Even so, all this time, I believe it was missing something important. Your dreams, the ones that go beyond your dreams of a powerful, equal, romantic partnership. So finally, I inserted a chapter entitled Dream Dazzler, and that's you. I call your womanly dreams dazzles. And another called What Dazzling is Made of, which breaks down the process of bringing your dreams to life. And then yet another that I call The Dream Team, which is all about how you're going to recruit and sustain your husband and children's engagement and support in your dazzles. We don't know near enough about that, us wives, us mothers, but now we will. We can. I hope you will make a gift of the new Wife for Life, The Power to Succeed in Marriage, in paperback or ebook, to yourself. And since I love gifts as much as anybody, I want to give one away. On my birthday, I hope that you will enjoy my birthday lunch party. It's a big bash that we're actually going to do on my birthday, and I want to invite you to it. It's live, it's free, it's going to be really interactive, just loads of fun, because remember, I'm all about fun. Use the link in the description box to save your seat. And then hop on over to Amazon as soon as you finish the podcast to get your copy of the new Wife for Life. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. Ready for why number 3? I'm going to give you the clip first. And it's a little bit more of a recent film. I'm not even sure you've seen it. So I don't know if you're going to know this one. Here we go.
What just happened?
I just helped my actors change the motivation.
First, you get people to stop filming me, and then you give me that advice about getting into Scrooge's body. And now this.
I'm just,
You're just doing your job extremely well, Cassie. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't be a director, because you are an amazing director, Cassie. You're meant to do this.
Thank you. It's really nice of you to say.
I'm just being honest.
Do you know what it is?
I don't know the title, but it's got to be the Dickens one you were telling me about the other day.
Yes. It's called A Dickens of a Holiday, and it takes place in a town called Dickens.
Oh, goodness.
That puts on Charles Dickens'
You would have to if you were named, if that was your
for like
town
100 years straight. But they're in dire need this particular year of a director. So the girl who used to live in Dickens but has gone to Broadway comes back home for various sundry reasons and ends up saying, okay, I'll direct the play. And then the old actor who used to be your acting teacher in high school, right? He gets laryngitis. He's been Scrooge for 50 years, but he gets laryngitis. And so the mayor comes up with the genius idea of, let's ask this guy who used to be her high school, sort of chum. I mean, he kind of, the truth is he worshipped her from afar. But he's gone on to become a mega action movie star.
Like Tom Cruise.
He's the Tom Cruise, yes. And they talk him into, well, there's a whole bunch of factors at work, but he actually comes back home to his hometown to play Scrooge. I know it sounds so improbable, but in that little scene, he was telling her that he believed in her, like she could be a really, really good director because that's her dream.
That's her passion.
And I just love the breathiness and the deep resonance in his voice when he's like, "You're an amazing director. Don't let anyone tell you that you're not."
Coming from this action. Professional.
Because isn't that what we all long to hear from our own husbands?
Right.
Right? Is you're an amazing this, not you're an amazing wife, but the thing that you do or that you want to be
Your
good
passion
at,
or your dreams or
passion, your
whatever.
job, your whatever it is. Right, you're an amazing thing. So here's the why I think that, why number 3, the support of our family, friends, community, and the love of our life gives us life. As women, we just need that support. So how many of these films is she going home for Christmas, right? And it coincides with finding true love because she's going back to family and to home and to the long lost love of her youth or whatever.
Or she gets stuck in some town and finds that community and love is something that she actually wants.
Oh, yes.
Right.
She's coming from the big city and she comes back to the little town. She's
Or
compelled.
he does. Sometimes it happens.
Well,
for him.
in the case of the Dickens one, the Dickens of a holiday, they both come back to their little hometown to find love, right? And sometimes when she does that, she's offered some big job out of town, and she discovers that, I really think I want to be
it's
with
okay, that's
family.
more important, right?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sense of
yeah,
belonging is more important than the sovereignty, or at least the
Right.
belonging.
We're going to talk about that. Don't give it away.
Sorry.
Yeah, but that's true. That's close to
Right.
another one of the whys we're going to talk about. And how many of these films do you see parents or older kind of mentors like Henry
There's
Winkler
always-
was
yeah.
the uncle, right? Who's kind of guiding them or helping them
Friend
deal with
or-
their conflicting emotions, helping them sort through their priorities, right?
Right.
There's one in particular that I love, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's coming up here in a minute. Or how many amnesia plots have you seen? I think there's been a couple of them this year where she has amnesia, but it's her community or a new community,
right?
Right, that helps her figure things out, right? So, and sometimes there's a kid involved, where she has to win over not only this handsome hunk of a guy, but his kid.
Yeah.
So there's always lots of other relationships and
Right.
lots of other people. And I think that really resonates with us as
And I
as
think it
women.
also supports the romantic relationship, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it gives them confidence to pursue the romantic relationship or, the whole idea of I want to stay here in this community and you're here, kind of thing. And so I think it's a big aspect and it's part of recognizing that a romantic relationship also needs that friendship
Yes,
and parents
yes,
and
yes.
support is a conglomerate of a lot of other relationships, right?
Right. I call it, I try to illustrate that in my book, Wife for Life, as a castle. Remember the castles you and I went to in England?
Yes.
But every castle was surrounded by this community.
Right. There's always a town
Right. But
people that it serves.
the castle built for two can roll up the drawbridge and just be very exclusive, but still they're surrounded. They can't help but be a part of and be touched by and influenced by the community, lots of other relationships. So I think that resonates with us. Okay, ready for number 4?
Yes.
I think you'll guess this one pretty quick. Are you ready?
Oh, I was surprised, Rosie. So, it's like fate brought you here.
Yeah,
Sure.
not fate exactly.
Huh?
Well, I got this Christmas card.
What?
It's been a real lifeline for me.
She brought you here.
Don't you think it's a little odd that a grown man would travel this far based on a card?
You told her?
Maybe we should keep it to ourselves for now.
No problem. It doesn't matter how you got here. It's just great that you're here with us now.
I love that. I'm sorry, but I think that's my all-time favorite.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh no, really? It's just not
It's seriously
Christmas.
hands down. Yeah, it's like you watch it every Christmas along with our house, along with It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, at least every year since 2006.
Yes. Well, it's an oldie Hallmark movie.
Yeah. Now
but
let's
it's
tell
just-
everyone. Did you guys guess what it is?
Yeah, the Christmas card.
I tried to put a little, hint in there when he
Yeah,
talked
this card?
about the Christmas card. Right.
Oh, such my favorite.
That's written by Joni Kane, and it stars John Newton, Alice Evans, and the brilliant Ed Asner. That was the older voice you heard, and he passed away this year, right? But he was like 91.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But he did such a beautiful job in that film. What was he playing? What was the role he plays so beautifully?
Well, he's the heroine's father.
Yes.
But he becomes this mentor to
Yes.
the hero.
To the hero who's a returning...
He's on leave.
He's
from
on
the
leave.
military.
Oh, that's right. He's on leave from the military.
R&R.
Right. Okay. So here's why number 4, and it has a lot to do with that Ed Asner character and the character of the hero played by John Newton. And it's this, that what stirs our heart as women, the idea that there are good guys in the world. And the hope that our guy somewhere deep down is that good guy, right? And that those good guys need us. They need us and all of that. Well, just the thought of there being good men, I don't know. It's just kind of inspiring, don't you think?
Yeah, it really is, especially in that film because it shows how much of a hard worker and he gives so much without any real reason to other than he wants to. He's doing it for
Right.
board, of
He's a
course,
really
but
humble
Yeah,
person.
just a really humble person, and this just comes along and such a good down to earth, and she realizes that too, and so
Right.
it's just really
compared to her flashy boyfriend.
Well, we know a lot of women have experienced men that are not that
Right.
don't seem like the good guy, right?
Right.
And so there's a lot in the universe that are running against that idea that there are good guys, and so to realize that
just for a couple hours to believe that
to
there
believe
really are.
to believe the good guy in your husband, right?
Right.
And that a lot of men need. Like you said, need the woman. I love that about the Christmas card, and I love those are some of my favorite films when you can see the inspiration that she or he provides, or that's at the same time together.
Right.
And that's the glue that draws him in or she in. A lot of the Hallmark films can be so fluffy about why they fall in love, or you're kind of wondering how did that how did that marriage really
I'm
go?
not sure this is going to work.
This is going to work out 10
after-
years from now. But in that one, it's just like you want it in the second one because it's going to be great because of how much they both are blessed by each other. But especially him, there's a lot that goes to be said. And we talk about this a lot, that men need the woman to grow. He needs that. He says in the movie, what you need is a place to come home to.
Yes,
right?
Ed Asner
Yes,
says that too. Yeah.
Cody.
Oh, Cody, that's his name. What a cool name.
Can you
It's so
tell we
cool.
love this film? It's our favorite.
Well, I picked it as an illustration of this principle, although it could have illustrated any of the other principles we've talked about tonight. But I picked it because not only is Cody a really good guy, but Ed Asner is the father. I mean, everybody would love him for a father, love that character as their father. And a lot of us don't have that kind of father.
Right.
And so to see that portrayed on screen is just really heartwarming and reassuring, I think. And then her uncle is also a part of the
Fun,
cast.
yeah.
And he's just really fun, and he's been part of the family forever.
Right.
And there's even another uncle that's introduced at one point that brings his sons on Christmas Day.
Well, that's right. So there's a lot of good guys, is
There's
what you're
just
saying.
a lot of good guys
Yeah,
in that
that's
film.
true. I never thought about that aspect of the film.
And I think that gives us hope. Hope is what it keeps us afloat.
And going back, about the guy thing was, they run Ed Asner character runs a lumber company, and so this generation, like you're saying, generation of good guys. That there's a whole.
That's true. And what's so fun is to think about Cody taking
Taking
over
over,
the whole family business,
Right.
right? So we want to believe in men. I think as as women. We want to believe in men.
And all the good things about them.
And the good things about them. We want to believe in
Like
masculinity.
the thing that makes them men is that they're,
Yes, because a lot of us have disappointing real world experience. Yeah.
And you get to see
we
that played out in
to.
that film as well.
I love this quote by Christina Hoff Sommers, who's a feminine activist. She's a real feminist. But she says the rise of women, however long overdue, does not require the fall of men. The energy, competitiveness, and corporal daring of normal, decent males is responsible for much of what is right in the world. And that is portrayed over and over and over again in Hallmark movies. And you could argue that they're not real. Those guys aren't real, you know. You're not going to find this mature 30-something-year-old guy that's just, unblemished and perfect in every way and unattached. But I do believe there are good guys, and we have plenty of them in our lives to prove it. And I have plenty of students who have good.
Well, and I know
guys
that all women couldn't say this about Hallmark films, but for me at least, they always make me think about my husband, like always make me believe the goodness and like the excitement and the love of our marriage, right?
Right.
And so, as we apply WifeSaver principles, we can get there, right? So that may not happen for a lot of women, can create a lot of longing, of course.
Right.
But that idea of that it helps us see the good in men or masculinity, especially hopefully in our own guys.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's true. That's what we call inspiring your best imagination in WifeSavers. That's what we call it. We want to believe too that they're going to do their best by us and for us, and all of that is always portrayed in the Hallmark movies. Okay, here goes number 5. Let's see if you can guess I don't know if you've seen this one or not.
What? A Hallmark film I haven't seen? Okay, there's a lot because they pump them out. So.
There's hundreds.
And since having kids, I can't keep up.
There are hundreds now. And this one I found at the top of a popularity list, like viewers.
Along
readers.
with the 12 Kittens of Christmas?
Yeah. I think it's the 9 Kittens of Christmas.
Okay. The 9 Lives of Kittens or whatever. You can take any film and just add of Christmas.
Of Christmas. Or in Christmas. Or at Christmas.
Like you said at the beginning. Yeah.
All right. So here's one. It does have Christmas in the title.
Okay. Yeah.
Jackson, I'm sorry for how things ended between us.
You don't need to apologize.
No, let me finish. I was just so focused on music. I jumped at the opportunity to further my career without really taking you into consideration. The truth is, I still love you. And I think we should do everything we can not to let it slip away again. But just like Sam said, second chances don't come around very often.
He's a wise man. And just to be clear, I never expected you to sacrifice your career for me. Margot, all I ever wanted was you. My dream was to spend my life with you. I thought we'd get married, start a family, live a happy life together.
That was my dream too. Somehow it got overshadowed. But it never meant that I didn't want both.
There's no reason you shouldn't have both. I think we can live our dreams together.
I'd like that.
So, now what?
Well, I was thinking when my tour is over, I could come back home and we could give it a try.
Nothing would make me happier. Merry Christmas, Margot.
Merry Christmas.
I let that whole long clip play because it was so wrong to cut it off.
Yeah, that would have been really rude. I mean, we're all visualizing the kiss in our head. So
how did you know there was a kiss? I just realized what's really wrong with my life.
What's that?
I don't have underscoring.
So when you kiss your husband, are you hearing music in your head?
Well, if they were underscoring, I kind of know what was going on.
I know, it's so funny because
I would know how I'm supposed to feel.
That's right.
I would know whether I should be scared someone's just outside my door.
I wonder what would happen if you added different music to that scene, you know.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is I pretty much could tell the whole plot of the film just by that monologue.
Yeah?
Right?
Okay. Take a shot at it.
Oh, no.
Wait, I'm going to tell you what it's called.
And I think I knew one of the actors, even though I can't tell you.
Oh, really?
The film,
Oh, yeah.
just by the voice.
He is a favorite. He's in several of the Hallmark movies. And it's Chateau Christmas.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
So
I haven't
it's pretty
seen that
recent,
one yet.
2020. And it's Nicole Baxter and S.W. Sessions that wrote it. I always want to credit the writers because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
And it stars Merritt Patterson and Luke McFarlane. And he's the one you're thinking of, probably. So what do you think? It's about a pianist. I'll give you that much.
Okay, so there's two musicians.
Yeah. Well, he kind of produces
Okay. So some art.
musical events.
Okay.
Yes.
And they at one point had a romantic relationship.
I think they were actually married.
Oh, what? That's a new Hallmark twist.
Or maybe fine. Oh boy, someone's gonna correct me. That's okay. But
Leave it in the comments
they
below.
were either engaged or married.
Right.
Okay.
And some sort of
She got
draw opportunity
Yes.
and felt like she couldn't do both, or that he
Yes.
wouldn't let her do both, or
Big
because there
concert
wasn't
pianist.
enough communication between them.
Yeah, he never wanted her to drop her career for him. Why
Her
didn't they
fears
talk
got in
about
place.
this?
She let her fears overcome what was actually reality here.
Exactly.
And she went on, and several years went by, and
Yeah.
somehow they were brought back together because of fate.
Yes. There it is.
And
There's that serendipity. You're right.
They have to do something together to create something together.
Yes.
They're forced together.
Yes.
And
when
they
it's
find
very
out-
successful, they have that scene
There you go. See?
that ends in a kiss.
The end.
Right. And they're going to build a whole new life together.
Print, deliver.
That's it. And it is one of the most popular films. Now, the reason for that, I think, is my why number 5, which is watching a woman give herself to relationships, to family relationships, to one primary relationship with a guy, while living her dreams. We like that. It strengthens our sense of, or at least our desire for that kind of ideal balance. Like we don't have to sacrifice our whole self to the relationship. And that's what I was referring to when you said sovereignty and balance, which are two terms that I
Belonging.
use. Oh, belonging is we want to balance
belonging and sovereignty.
Right. And sovereignty is the sense of owning ourselves and owning our dreams and owning our lives and owning the way we raise our kids. And we really, as women, crave that kind of territorial
and feeling
ownership.
like we're that's happening, right? That we're
Yes.
we're having time to express ourselves, or
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And then the
belonging.
That's belonging is very much the other side of the teeter-totter. And belonging is more about we want to feel intimate and included and cherished and known.
Yeah, and known back to
Right? So we need that kind of really, really close, tight connection. And we crave it in a marriage relationship for sure. So how do you keep your sovereignty and that sense of belonging? And some women are so afraid of belonging, of going too far one direction, that they overcompensate and are afraid to surrender. They're going to have to surrender their sovereignty. And so they just stay distant from that kind of relationship. And then some women go the other way and do sacrifice a lot of their sovereignty because they want to belong so badly, right? So in WifeSavers, what we learn to do is strike that balance. That's something very, very fundamental to the whole WifeSavers
and unique
philosophy.
and unique to WifeSavers.
Yes, I think it's unique that we've identified that and unique that we figured it out.
And we
how
help
teach
women
it.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. So in that beautiful little conversation, that's the ideal,
Right.
you know,
It's like,
for a guy to say, I don't want you to give up your
Right.
dreams. I want you to pursue your dreams. And I want to be
can
with
do
you
both.
forever. And
Right.
let's do our dreams together.
Right.
That's what we really want to hear, right? Anne Morrow Lindbergh, she's my favorite writer from Gifts from the Sea. She said, the problem is not merely one of women and career, woman and the home, woman and independence. It is more basically how to remain whole in the midst of the distractions of life, how to remain balanced no matter what centrifugal forces tend to pull one off center, how to remain strong no matter what shocks come in at the periphery and tend to crack the hub of the wheel. And so this is what we see in Hallmark movies, are these women looking for that balance over and over again. The stories show us that they want that balance. They're looking for that balance. They haven't felt it in their life, but when they find the right guy, that seems to be the factor that fulcrum in their teeter-totter where they're finally able to feel balanced. And how it's not that simple in real life, but we wish it was. And I think that's really one of those things that stirs our heart, makes us come alive in those Hallmark movies. Agreed? Agreed. And I think that is that film, Chateau Christmas or Christmas Chateau, really illustrates it better than anything else. Now, I told you I had 6 reasons, but I lied. I only had 5. What? Unless you can think of another one. Can you think of any other reason about a Hallmark movie that makes us want to watch till we're gluttonous?
There's just the frou-frou stuff, they're just beautiful. And
that's true.
They're, they're true. Magical, and the decorations and the color and the lighting and the hometown and the slowing down and, all those other kind of things that feed your spirit, just the little delights of watching something.
So why number 7?
Wholesome.
It's just beautiful. Oh, you know what? That's true. I was thinking about the wholesomeness of us, of these films. We don't have to deal with villains or deep, dark, disturbing secrets or anything like that. The worst that happens is some kind of misunderstanding.
Well, and I think there's very few where there's somebody thwarting, the whatever. But it's like a short story. It's reading, but get a little 2-hour little kick,
a little bump of feel good.
Yeah. And I think there's a number 7 we could add, which I was thinking, I know we could go all night, couldn't we, about this?
Yeah.
But I was just thinking as you were, each of these things, these 6 or 5, is in a way a truth about women, right?
About women.
Right. There's truths in here about the innate part of us as women, right?
Exactly.
And so I think watching one over and over again, even though we know the plot, we know how it's going to end. We can
mean watching one over and over, or several different ones over?
Either way, but watching several ones.
You've seen 12.
You were saying why do we can't stop watching one over?
All right.
Is that idea that we see those truths or we see all these things that we talked about portrayed in somebody's life in a different way each time.
Oh, in a different life and in a slightly different way.
Right. And so it just kind of reiterates these same principles over and over again, even though we could tell you, oh, this is when the kiss is going to happen, or, how it's going to end or how it's going to play out or whatever.
Yeah, because our husbands don't get that.
Yeah, they're always like, why do you want to watch it? You know how it's going to end. Like, you just know how it's going to end. You know how it's going to end.
Because your father's favorite joke is, you guys watching another love snores loudly.
Instead of love comes softly. That it's just that we see it portrayed in people's life. I mean, that's what we do as women: is we talk to each other and we hear the story about their life. But
we're story based.
All these same truths are played out in all of our lives in different ways, and
that sort of reinforces that it is possible, that it is some kind of truth, universal truth, or some mystery revealed about ourselves, to see it played out over and over again in different lives, in different ways.
Slightly different ways,
So it reinforces it. Yeah, that's a really good point. So I think, in summary, that these Hallmark movies, in answering my friend's question at lunch the other day of why can't we stop watching Hallmark movies, I think they teach us about ourselves as women, what we really want deep down, what we long for, or what we want to believe in, really. And we want to believe that it can and does exist, even though we know it's a Hallmark movie.
Right.
It just gives us a little tiny bit of joy and hope. In fact, in thinking about this in advance, I was reading a blog about Hallmark movies, and there was a comment from somebody who was a real cynic, she said, forever about Hallmark movies. And then finally one night she was home alone and she'd had a terrible day and she's flipping the channels and she comes across a Hallmark movie and she's like, oh, okay, I'll just try for 5 minutes. She couldn't stop. She couldn't stop. And afterwards, when she asked herself why and why she wanted to watch another one and another one and another one, was that, this is her quote, "There's a happily ever after and I need happily ever afters in my life right now." Thanks for listening. Del will be back, but I think Hannah's invited herself to an episode in the future. That was a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, I hope that you're going to go straight to Amazon and get your copy of the new Wife for Life, The Power to Succeed in Marriage, and that you'll register to attend my birthday book launch bash by using the link in the description box below. See you there.
Home is with you wherever that